Here are the issues I want to talk about today. First of all, the Court Reporters Board is up for sunset, which means that if they don't get a bill passed through the legislature in this session by September, the board could sunset, meaning they will no longer exist. We want the CRB to continue. However, we sent an email recently about some amendments that were added to the bill about firm registration. This language that we emailed you all about a couple of weeks ago is about firm registration, and the part that we are very concerned about is the reporter in charge. We don't support this language. I explain it at the board meeting here.
Can I ask for clarification? Because I know Rachel from CCRA mentioned this exact issue. She said, I'm not supportive of the reporter in charge, and we'd support if amended. What language would that be? Am I empowered? Can I ask her that question? For her advice. To answer that question on behalf of CCRA?
And I want to apologize. This is a really complicated discussion. And so what you see here is not us not understanding what's before us. It's just how to parse it in a way that meets all the needs of all the stakeholders at the same time. So
Correct.
If you could, please.
Sure. So I think it's difficult to, in this room, come up with the language that would make this perfect.
Yes.
What we do support, what I can say is what we do support is the firm being accountable as the firm, just as a licensee is accountable for their license. So the same type of penalties that would come against a licensee could be taken against a firm. Now I understand currently there's no law that gives the board that jurisdiction, and it would be our hope eventually that the board would have the jurisdiction over the firm as a corporation, just as they have jurisdiction over a licensee. But this language is not that, and we again do not support it being in the sunset. Now, as I said in that clip, we don't support this being in the sunset review bill at all. We think that it jeopardizes the Court Reporters Board from existing, and we think that that's terribly dangerous. There's one other thing that I want to point out, and that is that I've been hearing through social media and otherwise that the Court Reporters Board is not doing what they're supposed to do in terms of holding firms accountable under the law. Now, here's the problem. Current law and the language in this bill as it currently stands says that the CRB can only take action against anyone other than a licensee through civil lawsuits, meaning they have to file a lawsuit in Superior Court. The Court Reporters Board doesn't have the money to do that and the resources to do that, and that is the problem. Yvonne explains it here in this clip.
I have a question. There have been comments that only the reporter in charge is being penalized for violations of the firm or the corporation. In the reading of the language that's before us, is there not also the entity being, they have to pay a fine or a fee, they are being penalized as well?
Yeah.
Whoever can answer that question.
They are subject to a fine, but it's a civilly imposed fine. It's not imposed by the board. So we would have to take them to court in order to have that happen.
So here's the bottom line. We think that this language should be taken out of the sunset review. We think that it's too controversial, and we want to make sure that the Court Reporters Board remains intact. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is listed here, and I'm open to any comments or suggestions you have on this issue. I think it's really important that we all talk and we make sure that we're protecting ourselves. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you all soon.
I've been on the record and I've been very passionate that I'm supportive of firm registration, but I'm not sure that this is the proper path to do it, to jeopardize the board and its authorization. I'm troubled because I went back and looked at my notes, and I think Holly mentioned in her testimony that DRA was responsible for the amendments that we didn't know about. So I'm challenged and troubled by that behavior, and I don't like rewarding bad behavior.
You know what I felt when I read that language? I felt like the board was being taken hostage.
I feel like
Our arms are tied behind our back, and we're hopping on one foot right now,
Blindfolded.
blindfolded.
I have to say that I feel somewhat betrayed. This is not what we went to argue for. As it is written now, I could not support this amendment that puts so much onus on a licensee. Sorry, I've been in the corporate world too much to know what they are capable of doing.
So I just can't. I cannot support the bill in its current form.
It's become very clear to me that everybody wants to support this bill because it is our sunset review bill. So I think it's important to say that if there isn't a board, all the things that are happening would be much worse. So our existence is important.